Hey, what's up everybody? It's Tone Weaver Music here. Want to go on ahead and talk about the daily practice routine. You should have received this handout, and we're going to go on ahead and go over it just to make sure that we know exactly how to do these practices as well as what's expected, right? This is again going to be for you. This is the way to get the most progress and value out of your lessons, right? And then of course you can always add on more if you want to go above and beyond. But these I feel are the essentials that should be done every day. Now, understandably, life can get busy, so we might not be able to get to it every day, right? Totally understandable. Again, it is just for you, right? So you put in what you get out, right? Or you get out what you put in. So yeah, with that being said, let's go on ahead and see what we got. All right. So by now, yeah, everybody should have really note naming practice, right? That should be the first one that you should have. Now again, today we are going to be talking about piano, so we will be looking at this right here. You can tell that sometimes it'll show up as a certain instrument, right? But yeah, for general rule, when going up in pitch, you're going to use sharps, and then when going down in pitch, you're going to go on ahead and use flats, right? And then for piano, you're going to choose one octave, for example, like C to C. You're going to name those notes, and then of course starting on a different note each time as well, right? So let's go on ahead and take a look at a little additional handout that helps us with this so we can see that. So the additional handout that helps us with this is going to be one that's called Piano All Notes. Looks like that right there. So with that, we can start here on this C note here, and then we can just go up to the next C note. That's one octave. If you want to go all the way up to the next one here, you most certainly can. I just added those extra notes in there just so that we can kind of see a little bit more. As we go along, we go in ahead and play C, then we go to C sharp, then we go to D, D sharp, E, and so on, right? And then on our way back down, say for example, we start here on C, we're gonna make our way down. So we got C, then we got B, then we go B flat. Since we're on our way down, we wanna use those flats. Then we got an A, then A flat, and then G, right? So that's how we're gonna go on ahead and do that. We're gonna look at that on the piano. So let's go on ahead and see how that works real quick. All right, yeah, so this is how we go on ahead and name our notes, going up the piano and then back down. Remember, going up, we're going to use sharps. Going down, we're going to go on ahead and use flats. I'm going to go on ahead and just start right here on middle C. So yeah, we got C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, and then back down, C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, E, E flat, D, D flat, C. So there we go. We already just named those notes for one octave from one C to the next C. Again, you could go on ahead and do from D to D if you wanted to. You can do from C sharp to C sharp if you wanted to. It's always good to go on ahead and change it up. To start out with, if you're a complete beginner, you definitely would like to go on ahead and start out on C for a while. That's totally fine as well. Once you start getting comfortable with going from C, go on ahead and start changing it up. All right. All right, next up on the daily practice routine is going to be scales practice. You're going to be looking at doing one scale per day. For example, choose C major one day or choose G major the next day, so on, right? With this here, you're going to go ahead and have a couple of different steps. The first step that you're going to be doing on this one is you're going to play that scale while saying the finger numbers, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That type of stuff. And then step 2, you'll then say the note names. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then on the step 3, you're going to go ahead and play that again without saying anything at all. You're going to go ahead and try to repeat that 2 to 3 times. But each attempt that you make, try to get a little bit quicker, right? Start out slow, and then try to get a little bit quicker on each attempt that you make, right? So let's go on ahead and take a look at this real quick. And a little note here before we go on ahead and take a closer look is if any of your scales get like a sticker on it, like a star or a seal of achievement, you just need to maintain those ones by playing them at least like maybe once per week, right? Just kind of revisiting them to make sure that they stay fresh in your mind. If you feel like you need more when you do play it and you're like, oh man, I didn't play very well on that one, then maybe look at playing it twice per week, right? Whatever you need to do to kind of help maintain that, right? And then all other scales though, of course, yeah, we're looking at practicing those daily, okay? All right, yeah, let's take a closer look at what those scales look like so we can see exactly how to do that. All right, so this will be your handout here, of course, showing the scales. It is split off into left hand right there, and then you have right hand on this side here. Each one of them have the specific finger numbers, right? So again, left hand here, number 5, that's going to be played with your pinky, right? And then fourth finger is going to be the ring finger. Third finger will be middle finger. Second finger will be index. And then 1 will go on ahead and be the thumb, right? So that right there would be the finger numbers. And then, of course, the letter names here would be that step number 2, C, D, E, right? And then, of course, you can check it over here on the right. On the right, the letter names are the exact same. The fingering number is the only thing that changes. And it's just a mirror image of the left hand. So 1, going to be, again, your thumb. Number 2 here, that's going to go ahead and be your index. 3, your middle. And then you have a 4 right here. That 4 would be a ring finger. And then, of course, we would finish on the 5, which is going to be, again, your pinky. Really, finger numbers here always. Pinkies are always 5. Ring fingers are always 4. Middle finger is always 3. And then your index is always 2. And then your thumbs are always 1. All right, let's go on ahead and check that out on piano now as well so that we can go on ahead and see it being played, so we can kind of see what we need to be doing there. All right, guys, we're going to go on ahead and play a scale real quick here just so that we know exactly how we do it each step. Step number 1 will be finger numbers. We'll go on ahead and start on the left hand real quick here. So yeah, left hand, we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And then, of course, you go back down as well. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what that looks like in the right hand there. Again, that's the finger numbers. And then, of course, step number 2 goes right into saying the note names, right? So here's the note names. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then back down. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Of course, when you're doing those letter names, you definitely want to go on ahead and make sure you're still doing the correct finger numbers too, right? All right, and then next up, of course, we'll just be doing it, 2 to 3 times, getting faster as you go, right? So yeah, first time, taking it kind of slow. Something like that, and then of course then getting faster, right? So yeah, that right there, again, you're going to want to repeat those about 2 to 3 times. When you're doing that repeat, you don't really have to say anything on that go unless you need to. So if you need to say those numbers in your head, you can. If the letter names are better for you to remember, do those. I say getting the finger numbers down first is going to be huge, just because that helps you with that finger pattern and helps you memorize it, right? So yeah, that is our scale right there. That was C major scale. So that's how we do those steps. All right, the next thing in the daily practice routine is going to go on ahead and be song practice. What you're looking at here is you're going to be choosing one assigned song per day, right? Now, before playing this, you're going to go on ahead and say or write the note names under the notes for note reading practice, right? This is going to help you get better at reading sheet music. Writing the notes writing the note names under the notes, that's only going to be available for a short period of time, and that's going to be faded out, and I will let you know as well, hey, we're no longer doing that, so let's no longer write in those names. You will still go on ahead and look at trying to say them out loud, of course, though, to get you going. And that again is still going to be that good practice, right? All right, so yeah, what you're going to do is you're going to be playing this song 3 times, again, working to play smoothly up to a comfortable point. So where you know to, right? So if you only know to, measure 8, then you want to make an attempt to get maybe an extra 2 measures learned, right? And then, of course, hey, if you don't play it exactly right, I'm going to go on ahead and fix those for you, right? But at least you're looking ahead and you're seeing some of those note names, okay? All right. And any for your songs, anything that has a syllable achievement sticker on it, maintain it by just playing it 1 to 2 times per week. You never know when you'll be asked to play these songs, and it's good just to have them to where you still remember how to play them and you play them well. All right, well, let's go on ahead and take a closer look at some sheet music so we can go on ahead and see what I'm talking about like name and notes, right? All right. So yeah, this is the song here for our example, The Imperial March by John Williams. So with this one here, how you would go along doing that is naming the notes here, right? So we got A note, and then another A note, right? When there's a lot of A notes and they're repeats, hey, just as you're going, it'll speed up and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, A notes there, all right? Things like that. And then, oh, we got F notes here, back to A notes, F notes, we got an A note here, we got an F note here, A and C note right there, right? Going through and just checking these out and seeing what you have ahead of time, that's going to help you out tremendously and keep going, helping you read that sheet music quicker. Same as right over here, right? We got A notes here. We go down to an F note up to a C note. So yeah, just being able to read those and knowing where those are, again, helping you out, speeding up that process. To write them in, where you're going to want to write those note names in is underneath the note here, in that blank space right there, right? That's a good spot to write those notes in. And then you could go an extra step too as well. If it helps you and finger numbers are better, you can actually start writing in some of the finger numbers too, like you see here, but you could carry that throughout, right? Only available for a little time, right, until you're comfortable with reading sheet music. I'm going to let you know then again, like I said, hey, we're no longer writing in those note names, right? Same as the finger numbers too. So yeah. All right, well, that would be the Imperial March. Let's go on ahead and take a look on that on the piano as well. Now, when we're looking at it on piano, what I want to show you is that if we only know, say for example, we only know up to this 8th measure, right? That's the only one that we've talked up to, right? We've talked up to that one, but we didn't quite get into the next measure here. Well, when you're practicing it, I would love to go on ahead and see you take an attempt to try to figure out how to play this measure and then the second measure, right? And just see how it goes. And then we'll check it out and see how you did. And say, hey, I went on ahead and tried to figure that next couple measures out. See if I'm doing it right. And then I'm going to let you know if you are or not, okay? So yeah, there we go. That would be the song. Let's go on ahead and play it on piano. Check that out real quick as well. All right. So we're going to go on ahead and check out, a couple of examples on, playing a song and kind of getting through it, right? And how we're supposed to practice these, right? So yeah, for example, right now, this is just a sheet music with nothing really written on it as of now. So again, if you are needing help with writing down the letter names, so it's a little bit easier for you, you most certainly can write those letter names down. You're going to want to write those letter names underneath the notes here. Or, you could also do them above right there as well, right? So, for example, again, that's going to be A, right? And then F, F. So you can go through that. Now, this is a good practice to go on ahead and name those notes anyways before you even start playing. Getting a good look at the music, kind of getting into the mindset of being playing this song, right? So being able to read those ahead of time is going to help you out tremendously. Always take note of finger numbers. A lot of songs will have a little bit of finger numbers on there. As we're practicing them, we're going to go through those finger numbers as well, right? So that you can end up writing them down if those finger numbers help you out. Eventually, again, we will do away with those. So yeah, say for example that currently right now, I only know up to the fourth measure, right? So I want to play up to that fourth measure, several times, 3 to 5 times, right? And each time that I get all the way up to that measure that I know, up to the fourth measure, what you're going to want to do then is you're going to want to go on ahead and try to add on just a little bit more, right? So for example, right, so the first 4 measures. And then now you're going to be looking at the next measure. Okay, what do I have here? On the next measure, it looks like my right hand is coming in here. Third finger on that A note. I think that's A note. Let me just double check real quick. Let me see here. You know what? Yeah. Treble clef tells me that the second line is G. Oh yeah, that is an A note right there, and it's above middle C. So yeah, middle C, we got to go up to that A note, right? And then we go up to the A note, right? So now we got our next position started right there, right? So now this time around, maybe I'll just play that measure that I'm figuring out real quick. Then, okay, cool, I got that. Then go back to the first measure, play it all through again, right? So yeah, I'm going ahead and play that through now. So I just added on the next measure from there. But yeah, that's exactly how you want to do that. And again, you want to repeat that 3 to 5 times per day, okay? Now, say for example that you do know the entire song, you're going to want to be playing that entire song 3 to 5 times per day, right? Again, music is all about repetition, so the more you repeat things, the more you're going to go on ahead and memorize them, the better they're going to be. So yeah, that's what we have to do. All right, well that is pretty much song practice there for you. So yeah, keep up the good work. All right, next up on the daily practice routine is going to go on ahead and be chord practice. Again, we are going to be doing this for piano, so right here is where we want to go on ahead and focus at. So you're going to go ahead and use the 1-4-5 or a 2-5-1 handout. You're going to choose 1 key per day to go on ahead and play in. You're going to play that progression 5 times with the left hand and then 5 times with the right hand. If you want to, you can go on ahead and try to play them with hands together an extra 5 times as well, right? So yeah, but let's go on ahead and take a little closer look at what one of those handouts looked like. All right, there we go. I do apologize, was having trouble getting to it. Yeah, so this would be what one of those handouts looks like. This is the 1-4-5 handouts. And what we have here is we have right hand, left hand. Remember, when we're reading sheet music, treble clef is typically going to be played with your right hand. Bass clef is typically going to be with your left hand, right? So, yep, right hand up here, left hand here. The finger numbers are right here, right? So this would be for left hand here. So the pinky would be playing the 5 on the C. And then the 3 would be go on ahead and right there on the E. And then the 1 right there would be playing the G note, okay? And then the next one here is going to be a 5-2-1 fingers, right? So that would be your 5, that would be your 2, and that would be your 1. This right here would be an F major chord, so you end up having the C, F, and the A, right? We go right back to a C major here, and that's going to be a 5-3-1, same as before. And then next up here is going to go ahead and be the G major chord here. We got the same finger as 5-3-1. On that 5-3-1, the notes that we're going to be playing, we got 5th finger going to be playing your B note, 3rd finger playing the D note, and then the 1st finger playing the G note. And then we're going to take our 2nd finger and just go on ahead and add it right there onto the F, okay? So again, that's pretty much how you are going to be reading this handout here. Right above here is going to go on ahead and be the chord numbers. That would be chord number 1, then the 4 chord, 1 chord, 5 chord. And then you have your keys up here. So this one here would be key of C. This one would be the key of G, and then key of D, key of A, and then finally key of E major down here. Okay, so let's go on ahead and take a look at that on piano as well, so we can kind of listen to it and see how that sounds, and see our fingers playing it. All right, so yeah, next up, we're going to be looking at our chord practice, right? So our chord practice, you're going to have a worksheet for this one here. It's going to be a 1-4-5 worksheet. And with the 1-4-5 chord progression, this is how we're going to play it. We're going to do left hand separate, right hand separate, and then we could do hands together. We're going to do this just for C major. And then, of course, you'll be looking at doing some maybe like 6-2-5-1s as well. But for right now, yeah, we're looking at just those 1-4-5s right now. So yeah, let's get into it real quick here. Left hand, we got C major to start with. And then we go to our F major, C major. And then we go to G major. We add in our F. And then we go back to C. And then on the right hand, same thing on the right hand. That's what it looks like there. And then if we do hands together, this is what it would look like. Just like that. Now, of course, this is not, this would be the main practice, of course, but with chord practice, what you got to think about is that there is more chords than just the 1-4-5. So we do have, yeah, 2s, 3s, 6s, and 7s, right? So sometimes it's a good idea to go on ahead and choose a progression, you know, on your own, right? So for example, like a 3, go 3, right? And then we can go to a 6, right? And then we go to a 2, and then we can go to a 5, right? And then we can go to a 1, right? So again, I just made up one there. We had a couple of them in there. We got a 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Pretty cool little progression right there, right? So again, practice these, and you know, it's going to help you out tremendously. You're going to get to things a lot faster, and you're just going to be building up a library of chords, you know, and finger positions that will help you improvise down the road, and also just help you with your songs too. All right, well, that's the chord practice. All right, and next up is going to go on ahead and be our rhythm practice for our daily practice routine. You're going to be choosing 2 rhythms per day from the rhythm worksheets. They're going to go on ahead and have a unit on them, so you can tell which rhythm worksheets this is talking about. Now, if the worksheet already has counts in it, you're going to go on ahead and just start practicing that rhythm. Now, you can clap it, tapping it, and then you can also do it on your instrument as well if you want to. Now, if the worksheet does not have any counts, you're going to write in the counts first, but you're going to wait for me to go on ahead and review it just to make sure that you are counting it correctly. On those worksheets, you're just not going to practice any rhythms labeled canons. Let's take a closer look at those rhythm worksheets, see what we're talking about. All right, so here's a rhythm worksheet. Notice how it says unit 2. Those are what they're going to say. They're going to say a unit, right? So ignore this portion right here. This is going on ahead for conducting purposes, and we're not going to do it as conducting. We're really just going to do it just to get a better feel for these rhythms, right? So with that being said, again, these ones right now, these ones will show up with no counts, right? So there's no numbers on here. For example, though, to put the numbers in, this is what we would end up looking at doing. I'm going to do it on number 2 because number 2 is just going to be a little bit more self-explanatory by seeing it here on the page. This top number here, which is going to be a 3, would be 3 beats per measure. So that means in this section here, we're going to have numbers 1, 2, and 3. Same as for this one. And then same as for this one, as well as this one, right? So what we have here on this note here, this would be starting on the beat 1. So 1 would go right underneath that note. And then a 2 would go right there in the middle because this half note gets held for 2 beats. And then you have a quarter note here on the end, so a 3 would go right underneath that note because that falls on the 3rd beat. Here in this measure, your 1 would go right here, 2 would go underneath this quarter note, and 3 would go underneath this quarter note. And then you also have this one here. We would have 1 on the quarter note, 2 on the half note, and then 3 would be right here because this half note again is going to be held for 2 beats. And then if we were to clap it, we're going to go ahead and just have that as a demonstration. So on this one here, I'm just going to clap the first 2 measures here so we can kind of see what I'm talking about. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's the first 2 measures there, right? So that would be the rhythm section there. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you on the piano as well, though, so you can see how it would be done on our instrument. All right, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at rhythm practice now. So on these rhythms, remember that, you know, if there is no rhythms written in as far as like the numbers that go beneath the notes, then write those in, but let me check them to make sure that they are correct, right? We don't want to be practicing something that isn't fully correct, right? So, especially on these rhythms, it's really important because I don't want to throw you off and change it up, right? So yeah, only practice the ones that will have numbers in it. This sheet right here has no numbers underneath. We're just going to go through a quick one to demonstrate how to write those in, of course, and go from there. I'm going to do this on number 2, which is going to be on 3/4 time. Now on this 3/4 time, I'm going to write just to the side real quick here. So top number tells us 3 beats per measure. So yeah, we get 3 beats per measure for that top number, and then the bottom number, being that it's a 4, tells us that the quarter note is equal to 1 beat, right? So with that being said, now what I could do is I can go through and I can number up those on number 2, right? So on number 2, we got a half note and then a quarter note. That half note gets 2 beats. So we're going to have a 1, and then a 2 goes in the middle. Notice how that 2 doesn't have any note above it. Again, that shows that the half note is being held through that second beat. And then on the third beat comes that quarter note, so 3 goes right underneath that. All right, and then next up we have 3 quarter notes in our next measure. So we still have 3 numbers, 1, 2, 3. But on this one here, each one of them is going to get a number, right? So we got 1 underneath this one, 2 underneath this one, 3 underneath this one. And then on our next one here, we got a quarter note and a half note. Just a reverse of that first measure, right? Quarter note gets the first beat. Second beat begins on that half note. Half note gets held through the 3, right? Then our dotted half note gets 3 beats. So that dotted half note gets all numbers, 1, 2, 3. Notice how, again, I always put the first beat right in, and whatever note is there, that first beat falls underneath that, right? And then, for example, again, on this dotted half note, the 2 and the 3 are off to the side, just showing that, again, we're holding that through. Next up here, the last measure, we have that half note with a quarter rest, right? So then we have your half note here. We got 1, 2, and then that quarter rest gets 3. So it's still a beat on that quarter rest, but we're just not playing anything, right? Now with these ones here, we can always go on ahead and clap them. We can also play them on our instrument as well. You can also go on ahead and take sticks together, and you could do sticks together, right? Just like that, you know? So there's a lot of options that we can do on this. You can also clap them on your leg too with just one hand. But yeah, let's go on ahead and do number 2 real quick just to go on ahead and see how this is. Now remember, on the rhythms, you're going to be picking at least 2 rhythms per day to go on ahead and practice to get down, right? So yeah, on number 2, here's what it sounds like by clapping. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So on the piano, this is what it would sound like on the piano. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, that right there was playing it on the piano. that is our rhythm practice. All right, and then now the very last thing on our daily practice routine is going to be a creative and fun practice. It's an optional cool down. So the scales that you've been playing, you're just going to try to create a short melody on those. And then of course, you're going to try to combine several notes, like 3 notes together, to go ahead and form some simple chords or patterns, right? You can try improvising freely. This is going to build creativity and musicianship, right? So let's take a quick look though at forming simple chords though. So let's go back to our scale sheet here. So yeah, combining notes. Say for example, I combine a C note, a D note, a G note, and a B note. What would that sound like playing those together? C, D, G, and B. Play it together and see what it sounds like, right? And then as far as doing like a nice little short melody, you can do something like this. Play a C, and then go way up there and play a B, drop down to an A, back up to a B, down to a G. Something like that. See what that sounds like, right? This is just more for experimenting. We'll take a look at that on piano as well, so you can go on ahead and see that. All right, we're also going to go on ahead and look at our kind of last practice routine, which is going to be an optional cool down, right? Just kind of having fun on the piano, right? So, you know, sometimes as an absolute beginner, we don't know a lot on the piano, right? So with what you've already know, though, try to mess around with that stuff and kind of, you know, change up the order a little bit. Say, for example, like on the C major scale, right? Instead of playing it exactly in order, something like that, go on ahead and try to mix things up a little bit. So like maybe you go from C up to a G and play G twice. Something like that, right? Or maybe go on ahead and do a really big jump and go all the way up to a B note, right? Or up to the C note. Go boom. Something like that. Yeah, a lot of options there, right? Get your right hand maybe involved and maybe take some of those same steps that the left hand is taking, you know? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, right? Always a really fun one to do that I like, just kind of getting the fingers moving, is always something like this. Anything, just get your fingers moving. Try a couple things. Now in the scales, right? You can also go on here and choose 3 notes and try to play those 3 notes together. Like for example, in C major we have a D, we have an E, and let's try to play the A together. Let's see what it sounds like. Not bad. Let's try D, G, and A. Sounds pretty good. Maybe do 4 notes out of the scale. Let's do D, G, A, and C. Right? Maybe go on ahead and add in a B note way up here in the top, maybe. Right? So again, lots of possibilities. That's going to help you build up some creativity. All right, that's like the optional cool down there. Have fun, even if it's just... even if it's stuff like that, right? All right. All right, and then just some key reminders here. Consistency is more important than length. So, of course, doing it more daily is going to help out instead of cramming it in only once in the week. Now, mistakes are okay as well. So, just keep going without stopping and then try again, right? That's, don't get frustrated if you're making mistakes. That's a part of the learning process, is to make mistakes. And then always look at checking your posture and hand position before starting each practice. Good form equals better playing, right? So make sure that you're sitting up as straight as you can and your hands are in a good position. Then you are going to be looking good to really have good practices, right? Listen carefully for clean notes and smooth transitions. Better to play slowly at first and correctly than fast with mistakes. Getting this up to the speed, that will come, right? But better to go on ahead and start out slow and build up that speed. Some final notes here. Something that is going to be very fun and highly encouraged is to put on a song that you enjoy, turn up the volume, but still make sure you can hear your instrument. Try to play along. Doesn't matter if it's correct or not. Just experiment and listen. Try to make it sound good. Now, this kind of play will build creativity, timing, and confidence. Most importantly, have fun with it, right? So, yeah, that right there is our daily practice routine. If you guys have any questions, though, please go on ahead and reach out to me, and I will go on ahead and help you to better understand this. At least we now have a video as well that goes on ahead and clearly shows all of that. All right, we'll see you guys next time. See ya.